Once upon a time in a far-off land, there lived a princess so fair and grand. One day, while strolling by a pond, she heard a voice, and it wasn't a bird's song. "A talking frog?" she said in surprise, "and a prince, you say? Don't tell me lies." The frog replied, "I'm cursed, you see, only true love's kiss can set me free." The princess pondered, then made a vow, "To help you break the curse, I'll figure it out." And so, their journey began that day, to find true love and break the spell away. The princess set out on her quest, with the frog prince as her guest. She packed her bags, her sword, and shield, and embarked on an adventure in the field. They journeyed far and wide, through the heat and rain, over mountains, across rivers, and rocky terrain. The princess was determined to succeed, and free the prince from the curse indeed. They faced many obstacles on their way, from giant spiders to bandits in a fray. But the princess didn't give up the fight. She was brave and strong, and determined to set things right. As the days went by, the princess and the frog grew closer together, like two peas in a pod. Their friendship grew strong, as did their trust, and they kept going, driven by love and a sense of justice. The journey was long, and the road was tough, but the princess and the frog never gave up. They faced treacherous paths and dark, eerie woods, but their spirits remained high, and their hearts stayed good. They climbed up steep hills and crossed through raging streams, fought off monsters and braved through haunted dreams. They pressed on, with determination in their eyes, and overcame every obstacle, no matter the size. But their journey was far from over, and there was more to come, as they reached a place where the sun never shone. A land of darkness, where evil lurked, a place where even the bravest heart could be irked. The princess and the frog had to be careful and smart, for danger could strike at any time, and tear them apart. But they stood tall, with their heads held high, and faced every challenge, with courage and might. Into the enchanted forest, the princess and frog went, a mystical realm, with magic and wonderment. The trees were tall, and the leaves glowed bright, the air was filled with the sound of sprites. They walked through a path that twisted and turned, through a realm of fairies and creatures that burned. The princess saw wonders she'd never seen, a world of enchantment, like in a dream. But as they walked deeper into the woods, the enchantment faded, and danger loomed. The trees grew twisted, and the leaves turned black, as they came across a witch, with a wicked cackle and a cack. The witch said, "You've come to the wrong place, for I'm the queen of this enchanted space. You'll never break the curse, and you'll never succeed, for my power is strong, and it's all you'll need." But the princess was brave, and she stood her ground. She said, "We'll find a way, we won't be held down." And with her sword in hand, she charged forth, ready to face whatever lay ahead, north or south. The princess knew, to break the curse, she needed wisdom, knowledge, and a lot of nerve. So, she sought out the wise old owl, to guide her on this dangerous fowl. The owl was old, with eyes so bright, and he spoke with wisdom, and with might. He said, "To break the curse, you must be bold, and brave enough, to face the old." "The old?" asked the princess, with a puzzled look. "What do you mean? Is there a book?" The owl replied, "Not a book, my dear, but an old curse, that's been here for years. The curse was ancient, and it was strong, it had kept the prince in the form of a frog for so long. But the wise old owl had a clue, of what the princess must do, to break the curse and make it anew. He said, to break the curse, you must find the rose, that grows on the mountain top, where the cold wind blows. And with true love's kiss, you must break the spell, only then, the prince's curse will quell." Capitola 6. The princess and the frog set off again, determined to find the rose, and end the prince's pain. They climbed the mountain, where the wind was cold, and the journey was hard, and their feet grew old. But they reached the peak, where the rose was found, and the princess plucked it from the ground. She held it close, and looked at the Frog Prince, knowing that true love's kiss was the only way to break the curse that sense. The prince looked back, with eyes so bright, and they both knew this was the moment to end the long night. The princess leaned in and kissed the Frog Prince, and in a moment, the curse was gone, and the prince was alive, with a sense. He looked at her, with tears in his eyes, and said, "My dear princess, you've broken the ties. I'm free at last, thanks to your love and care, and I'll always cherish this moment, this precious pair." The princess smiled, and felt her heart glow, for she had done it, and she had helped the prince grow. And as they walked back to the kingdom, they knew their love and friendship was strong and true. The news of the prince's return spread like wildfire. The kingdom rejoiced, with laughter and choir. The princess was hailed as the hero of the land, for she had saved the prince with a touch of her hand. The prince was back to his human form, and the kingdom celebrated with music and a storm. They danced and sang the night away, and the princess and the prince danced all day. The king and queen were grateful, and thanked the princess so for breaking the curse and ending the prince's woe. And they knew that the princess and the prince were meant to be together forever and hence. And so the prince and the princess were wed, with flowers and ribbons in hues of red. They vowed to love each other till the end of time, and promised to be together in every mountain and climb. And as they lived happily ever after, in each other's arms, the kingdom flourished with love and charms. For the prince and the princess had shown that love and friendship could conquer all, and make the world their own. The years went by, and the kingdom thrived, with love and peace that never subsided. The prince and the princess ruled side by side, with wisdom and kindness that could never be denied. They had children who played in the fields, and a life full of joy that never yielded. The kingdom was happy, with a bright shining sun, and the prince and the princess knew they had won. They looked back at the journey they took, and knew that their love was more than a book. It was a bond that could never be broken, and a love that had only just awoken. And as they looked up at the starry night, they knew that their love was a wondrous sight. For it had broken the curse that had held the prince so long, and had led them to a life full of song. So they held hands, and watched the stars above, with a love that was eternal, and full of love. And they knew that no matter what life might bring, their love would always be the most important thing. The prince and princess grew old, with grace, lines etched on their faces, like the wrinkles on lace. Their hair had turned silver, but their love, like gold, remained strong as they grew old. They sat by the fire, with a book in their hand, recalling the memories of their life so grand. They laughed and cried as they reminisced about the journey they took and the love they missed. They remembered the time when the prince was a frog, and the journey they took through the mist and the fog. They smiled at the memory of the wise old owl, and how he guided them on the treacherous prowl. They remembered the mountain where the rose did grow, and the moment they shared with a love that did glow. They remembered the wedding where they pledged their love, and the promise they made to cherish and hold like a dove. As they closed the book and looked up at each other, they knew that their love was more than a mere cover. It was a bond that had stood the test of time, and a love that had only grown like the sweetest of wine. And as they held hands and closed their eyes to rest, they knew that their love was still the very best. For it had given them a life full of joy and delight, and a love that would always shine like the stars at night.